What's up, YouTube? Thank you guys so much for stopping by. I am Shanika Lawrence and I'm so excited to have you here with me today. Guys, I am coming to you with another video and I want to share with you some tips for beginning book writers. I haven't talked about writing at all on this channel, but I just thought it was going to be important to just kind of share some things that I have experienced. It's actually one of my strong suits, writing and creating. I've written so many different things. I've written a docuseries, I've written a couple books of my own. All of the music that I released when I did in 2020, I wrote all of that myself. So I'm just very versed on the writing, and I just believe that, whether you are a writer or not, you have the tools and the resources and all of the things that you need, especially today in 2023. You have everything that you need to write the book. So outside of just being able to think of the things that you'd like to share, remember the first step is always understanding who you're writing to. Who are you writing to? What is the story? What is the information that you are preparing to give out? And why do they even care? Why do the people that are reading your book, why do they want to read this book? What are their pain points? What are they experiencing? What are they going through? And how can they benefit from reading your book? You always want to think about your audience first. Even though you're like, I have this really great idea for this book, you have to remember you're going to need an audience to read your book. So while you may think that you have this incredible story, this incredible thing that you want to share, this incredible bout of information, you have to make sure that there are going to be people that are actually in need of what you have. So before you discuss what you're going to discuss and even get to the book, figure out who the audience is going to be. Once you figure that out, now you can get to the writing, the exciting part, doing the thing that you have desired to do, but maybe you felt like this is so hard. Well, I'm going to tell you some easy things that you can do to easily get the process started. So I heard a philosopher say, or a psychologist say, that our brains are unable to act on editing and production at the same time. So with that being said, a lot of times when you are, thinking of things, you want to think of like, okay, well, how is this going to look? And what is the format going to be? And the editing and all of that. And that is not the first thing that you should be doing when you're preparing to write a book. The first thing that you should be doing is thinking, okay, what is it that I want to say? What is it that I want to get out? What kind of information am I giving? Where am I getting this from? You need to gather all of your information, all of your research, or whatever you need, and just begin to write. Just write. And a lot of people have trouble with this because they feel like, okay, well, I don't have the time. I don't have the resources. Sometimes I don't feel like sitting down and writing. But guess what? You have an easy way. If you have, like I have, an iPhone or any kind of smartphone now, it's 2023. We all have recorders on our phones, right? You can easily record on your voice recorder. However, there is a cool app. I am not sponsoring this app currently, but this app is called YOIR. And this app has been amazing lately. All I have to do is go on, speak, and it will transcribe everything that I am saying. It makes it so easy. And actually, they'll give you about 600 minutes for free. So you can't go over a certain amount in one session. However, over a period of time, over 600 minutes combined, they'll allow you to have those minutes for free, and then you start to pay. There is so much that you could get out in just 600 minutes. Think about all of the things that you have to write about, that you want to write about, and just speak it. Just speak it. You can do this in your car. You can do this at home when you're sitting down, you don't feel like doing much, and you just want to flesh out everything that's in your mind and what you want to talk about. Just start speaking, and it's going to transcribe everything right there in front of you. Yes, the editing part and all the formatting and things, they have to be done at a later time, but your first agenda when you start writing the book is to get everything out on the paper. Get it all out. Whatever you want to say, however you feel, just get it out. That is your number one goal. Now, if you think about how much that there is to write within the book, now you can start to say, okay, well, I want to get about 10 pages done this week. So maybe I'll do 2 pages per day. How are you going to do that? You break it down. You have that 1 hour and you just sit back and you just speak for an hour, or you speak for 30 minutes. Imagine how much you could get done. And this is just that, dedication and that determination to get your book done. Again, using two sides of your brain, trying to figure out how to edit in one scenario and then also production, that's just going to be too much. So just produce, and then later on you'll be able to edit, you'll be able to format. Okay, now that you have it all fleshed out on paper, whether you've written it out or you transcribed it on Otter or you voice recorded it on your phone, now you have everything that you need. Okay, so the next step is to organize everything in the way that you would like. If you have it by chapters, go ahead and organize it by chapters first. That's going to be the easiest. And then you'll be able to kind of see the flow as you go. But if you don't have it in chapter format, then it'll be a little bit more difficult. So make sure that you have everything that you want to say and that you're sharing under some sort of organization, a chapter, some sort of title or idea that will help that idea flow into the next idea. Okay, now that you have all of that worked out, I know that there are a lot of people that will tell you to go to Upwork or Fiverr and get other people to edit, but I always suggest self-editing first, okay? Self-editing to me is just very helpful because you are the only one who really knows exactly what you want to say, what you want to convey. So it's important that you are able to go through each chapter on your own to make sure that you have done as much editing as you can before you send it to an editor. And yes, you can go to Upwork, you can go to Fiverr to get these editors, or a lot of times what I like to do is send out a few copies of my text that I've already started, and I would send it out to people around me that I know who wouldn't mind reading maybe a couple pages, a few pages, not even of the full chapter, but who are able to maybe lay their eyes on it and tell me some things that they see. And then I'll be able to kind of correct as I go through. There are a couple different types of editing, just so that you know. There is editing that is only literally just grammar, and then there's editing that is more contextual, editing that actually helps you to get ideas across in its full length. So for example, I might say to myself when I'm writing this book, it is a lot trying to deal with family, period, right? And then I move on to another idea. In my mind, I know what that means, right? I know it is a lot to deal with family. And then I move on to something. But somebody who's reading that, they want to really understand, what do you mean? It is a lot to deal with family. How can you spread out that thought into something that would be more consumable for the reader? How can you spread out that thought in a way that would help them to really understand what you mean when you say it is a lot to deal with family, versus saying there have been various types of incidents in my life when I have interacted with family members that have caused me trauma in the past. Okay, so now that you've said that, that gives it a little bit more context. So now that you have started that, you can now elaborate and talk about the trauma, or talk about how that has affected you, what kind of things you had to deal with because of that. So that's just a little extra nugget there, just to help you with some editing. If you come across, someone who just wants to grammarly edit, you have to remember that you need contextual editing in your writing. Now that you have this process done, you are about done. You are nearly there. The next step is to go and find someone or some platform in which you can publish your book. Today, most people have been publishing and self-publishing on the platform Amazon. I know that you know about this. Most people are able to come here. Some people refuse to publish their books through Amazon because, Amazon does take about 30% of your royalties in a lot of situations, not all of them. However, and that is actually a lot better than some of these different publishing companies, but you might also be able to find a place or something that would be better suitable to publish your book. There are some other places, some cool places that you could publish your book. But again, if you just decide that you don't want to go through Amazon, you can always go through your own platform and publish that way, and also sell that way as well. And it's all good, you know, whatever, you know, you feel comfortable with doing and whatever works for you and what you're trying to accomplish. I think that it's great to understand how you want that to kind of be marketed and where you want it to be marketed to. And just remember, again, if you don't have an audience that knows about you or that would want to know anything about what you have, then you're going to have a more difficult situation, a more difficult time selling your book. However, that's a whole nother video and we'll have to discuss that later. But I just wanted to share some quick tips with you to help you start your book, get your book out there. You know, God has placed something inside of you to share with everyone, and I'm sure that those who it's for and who it really needs it are going to be so blessed by everything that you have to share and everything that you have to say and teach. And remember that, you know, nothing that you know or that you have experienced is too small or too insignificant. It is all significant, and it is all going to be so helpful and life-changing to those who read it. And that is my prayer for you today. But thank you guys again for watching. I love you guys so much, and we'll have to do this very soon, but I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.